Hi, Assalamualaikum. Today I want to sharing my article. Actually, this is a concept paper entitled Normative Statement and Descriptive Statement of Moral Education in Teacher Ethics. Ethics refers to the moral principle or moral values that are held by a person or group people. Teaching ethics is an important element of life, especially in the areas of individual, family, organization, and community management aimed at ensuring the well-being and happiness of all parties in daily life. The rhetoric, of course, is that the ethics of teaching have a huge impact on the country and it will also determine the educational institution. Ethics is a description of the behavior accepted by the community in a society. Good ethics will give prosperity to a society. Ethical behavior should have the basic values and principle in the community. This teaching ethics is a guide for teacher in performing their tasks. Normative and descriptive statements are aspects of example that can describe a behavior, whether it is a good or bad, immoral or not. This statement also explains moral consideration in life. The writing of this concept paper will outline the teaching ethics that educators should engage in while engaging in the teaching profession. Normative and descriptive statement will also serve as example to illustrate the practice of teacher value. Okay, teacher ethics. Teacher ethics focus on developing behaviors and attitude that can guide a teacher's skill while helping to improve the quality of the teaching. It is also through teaching ethics that educators maintain the discipline and quality of their careers to stay informed and avoid any problems during their service. In the context of the teaching ethics of the Ministry of Education in Malaysia, there are a number of teaching ethics that are based on a number of principles, namely good intention, good behavior, the driving force of for good, everything what is said, and discipline and civilization. The seven values that underline the work ethic of teaching are trustworthiness, truthfulness, wisdom, gratitude, dedication, sincerity, and compassion. These are values should be practiced by every educator in developing the trust and responsibility of a teacher. As an educator, the ethics of teaching that need to be practiced must be based on a number of responsibilities, responsibility to parents, responsibility to the people and the country, and responsibility to colleges and the teaching profession. Normative statement and descriptive statement of moral education. A normative statement means a consideration of good or bad, whereas descriptive statement means that there are facts that do not involve consideration of values and fact. In a normative statement, there are two ways for an individual to measure good and bad in life. The first is by evaluating the behavior of individual or otherwise known as obligation suppression. The second is through the personal evaluation of a good person called ethic moral judgment. In this assessment, the personalities and attributes that are accepted in a society are considered good. Descriptive statements are statements that are value free or otherwise known as value neutral, which do not require any consideration of values and are a valid decision. In a descriptive statement, a statement is a general statement describing a subject or form or matter. For example, student needs to attend college on time. With this statement, there is no consideration for the value of the student. But if the statement sounds like this, Ali was late for college because he slept like playing computer games until late at night.
For this statement, it required a consideration of the value of responsibility and the value of the craft. Ethic towards student, teacher play an important role in the development of quality human capital as outlined in students' aspiration. Example of normative statement for the student ethics are teachers are not fair and treat students harshly during the teaching and learning process. For example, teachers use crude language for their students and those their love to pass on their knowledge to the student. This is not appropriate because teachers need to educate each of their students to be useful people regardless of skin color, race, and religion. A descriptive statement of the ethic of students' responsibility is teacher should always prioritize their student, whether inside or outside the classroom. For example, teachers should treat students with fairness and give priority to the welfare, safety, and welfare of all students in the school. According to Arif Mahmoud, teacher influence people in their effort to teach them to choose good behavior. Teachers need to educate their students equally and serve them well. Furthermore, the values of the ethics is good because teachers are sensitive to the needs and welfare of others by giving full support to the learning of students in the school. Secondly, speech ethic. The first ethic is speech ethic. Speech is an important factor then when communicating with others. Example for normative statement are a teacher use harsh language for the student and when they are make a mistake. This is inappropriate because a teacher need to keep language and behavior in front of student. Effective communication will foster good relationship between a teacher and their students. Clearly, the use of polite language create a conductive learning environment in the classroom, while the descriptive statement of these ethics are teacher need to use good language when communicating with student. The values that can be attributed here are hard values because a person, regardless of teacher or student, needs to be polite and use good language when communicating. Time ethics. The second ethic is a time ethic. It was lightful and it was precious. This is not denying that a teacher need to manage their time best they can. Example of normative statement here. A teacher enter late to the classroom. This will prevent teacher from systematically planning their teaching and learning. While example of descriptive statements are each teacher need to attend class on time. If one does not meet the time, it shows that they're unprofessional or that he does not appreciate that the time others. Therefore, teacher need to make a time for this teaching profession to be considered a professional one. One of the values in this ethic is responsibility because teachers are able to perform their duties and responsibility perfectly. Teacher will be able to manage their time more efficiently and when they are teaching and learning effectively. Indirectly, this ethic can improve the quality of teaching for the student in the classroom. There is not a denying that a high level of discipline with each other and each teachers must be practiced in order to guide the student towards excellence. Okay, the third ethic is dress ethic. The third ethic is dress ethic. The human being can easily judge a person through the clothing a person. Example, normative statement. A physical educator teach wear sports clothes but does not tie in the t-shirt. This is action show that the teacher is not disciplined and tarnishes his image of dignity. Example of descriptive statements are every teacher should dress neatly, like putting clothes in their pants, According to Ahmad Esa, every teacher must have adhere to the ethic of the education profession and ensure that students do not violate the rules of dress, which is also one of the trust that teacher must fulfill. Based on this statement, teacher need to set a good example for student as teacher are role model for student. The use non-ethical conduct will define the image of teacher according to Zakaria Yusuf. When teacher wear clothes that reflect on the personality of a good teacher, it will give students dream to achieve their goal. It is clear that the teacher of capable for the educating people to becoming honorable human beings. The value that I can relate to is the value of self-esteem because every teacher need to maintain their dignity to matter where we are. Okay, the fourth ethic in social ethics is parents or teacher need to work with parents to educate students in depth. Example of normative statements are a teacher just does not tell to the student attitude at the school to their parents. This is cause social connection to be disconnected. While descriptive statements are teacher need to communicate their pupils attitude while at school to their parents. Parents need to be more rational and open because this is a challenging of educating the parents' generation are far more challenging than their previous ones. Based on this verse, it's clear that collaborative between parents and teacher is essential in making students outstanding. When teachers do not want to work with parents, this will have a huge impact on educational institution and student education will be disrupted. According to Mohani Arifin, 2018, close collaboration and collaboration between schools and parents can produce outstanding to the students not only academically but co-curriculum also. Good collaboration between a teacher and parents can provide quality education to the student. The values that are linked are the values of responsibility and rationality because parents need to cooperate with teacher in order to create quality learners and parents need to be open and not need to act recklessly at the finger of the teacher. The last one in the work ethic in colleges. The teaching profession has many collegiate contexts and variety of contact. Example of the statement of this ethic are one teacher told her colleges about the other teachers. This will corrupt the image of the teacher and thus diminish the dignity of the teacher in teaching. While the descriptive statement of these ethics are teacher need to take their care of their teacher need to take care of their peers when communicating with others. In fact, whether you realize it or not, the perpetual and cruel victim is your own partner. Partner. Based on this verse, it is imperative for one teacher to maintain the dignity of another teacher. The value I can relate to is respect because every teacher needs to respect on the respect our peers. Conclusion, they are teaching the ethic guide to every teacher in Malaysia. This is because ethics can guide teacher behavior in doing things. In addition, in the task of education people to be excellent students in accordance with the six aspiration of peoples outlined the Ministry of Education. Through the elaboration of this normative statement and descriptive statement, it has been possible to explain how an ethics works in carrying out that teacher works for tasks. This descriptive and normative statement can also help teacher to be more knowledgeable and aware of action taken in line with their moral values. Teaching will be able to perform their tasks well properly if they are able to adhere to the teaching ethics outline. Every behavior and ethics practiced by this teacher can help improve the quality of student as outlined in the National Philosophy of Education (NPE), which is a physical, emotional, spiritual, and intellectual. The education system should be constantly striving towards developing student overall and integrated potential as the goal is to produce intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, and physically balanced people based on the trust and obedience to God. Thank you so much.